In the Grand Hall of Hogwarts, the Sorting Hat had made its decision, one that would forever alter the course of history. The whispers of the assembled first years filled the air, a mix of anxiety and excitement. But Harry Potter, with his untamed hair and lightning-shaped scar, was not quite like the others. The Sorting Hat hovered over his head, its ancient voice murmuring in his ears, the weight of fate pressing against him. He had always been told by those who loved him that he was brave like his father, kind like his mother, and good-hearted in a way that made him destined for Gryffindor. Yet, as the Hat's thoughts wove through his own, something else lurked within him. Ambition, cunning, a desire to prove himself and claim his place in the world. The choices were there, both vivid and tantalizing, but in the end, the sorting. Hat made a choice that no one had expected. Slytherin. The room fell silent. The tension was palpable. Harry Potter, the boy who lived, was to be a Slytherin. The whispers began almost immediately, a mix of shock, confusion, and disbelief. His friends, Ron Weasley and Hermione Granger, had been expecting Gryffindor, just as he had. The Sorting Hat, however, had seen more in him than bravery alone. It had seen ambition, an ambition that would lead him down a very different path. One part narrative, Harry Potter's life as a Slytherin as. The long years at Hogwarts past, Harry's life in Slytherin was anything but easy. He was greeted with suspicion and derision from many of his fellow students, especially those from Gryffindor, where he would have once found his closest companions. His relationship with Ron and Hermione became strained, their once unshakable bond tested by the perception that Harry, now a Slytherin, had betrayed their trust. It was not the camaraderie that Ron had imagined, nor the loyalty that Hermione had hoped for. Harry quickly became known as the Slytherin Scion, a wizard with the blood of the Potters, raised by the Dursleys, and sorted into the house that was known for its ambition, cunning, and power. The prejudices against him were immediate and brutal. But Harry was not a mere product of the house he had been sorted into. Even in the cold corridors of Slytherin, there were those who recognized his potential. Draco Malfoy, who had always seen himself as the true heir of Slytherin, kept a wary eye on Harry, but also a begrudging respect for his capabilities. Despite their differences, a strange rivalry began to brew between the two. Harry found himself becoming something he never expected, a leader within Slytherin. The ambition that had first been noticed by the Sorting Hat now fueled his every move. He excelled in potions, in defense against the dark arts, and even in subjects where his Gryffindor peers had assumed he would struggle. But this success came at a price. Harry's mind was constantly filled with questions. Was he losing sight of who he was? Was ambition slowly overshadowing the values of loyalty and friendship that he had grown up with? In his second year, Harry's path crossed with Severus Snape, the potions master and head of Slytherin. The professor was intrigued by Harry's remarkable skill in the classroom and took him under his wing, despite the boy's earlier reputation as an outsider in the house. Under Snape's tutelage, Harry's ambitions grew, but so did the weight of his choices. Snape, with all his secrets and bitterness, seemed like a mentor in many ways. But Harry could never quite shake the feeling that he was being groomed for something far darker than he had anticipated. One evening, as Harry sat in the Slytherin common room, pondering over his latest accomplishments in Transfiguration, he overheard a conversation between Draco Malfoy and Vincent Crabbe, two Slytherins who had been watching him closely. The words that came from their mouths were unsettling. "Do you think Potter will join us in more than just house unity? He's got the power. It's only a matter of time before he chooses to use it." It was a strange moment for Harry. He knew what they meant. The dark path of ambition had always been there for Slytherins. But would he choose that path? Would he fall into the same traps as those who had preceded him? His thoughts returned to the words of the Sorting Hat. You could. Be great, you know. The words echoed in his mind, now carrying a darker weight. Was greatness really worth it if it came at the cost of his soul?